What's up, guys? I'm Grandmaster Shaymin. Welcome back to Flower Paradise, and today we have another episode of our Robotics Notes Elite playthrough. In the last episode, we did an incredible job in the tournament against Sadaka, and now we, or Hidaka, my bad, Hidaka, and now we have Misane and this very strange, evil-looking person named Sawada. That's probably where I got the S from when I was saying Hidaka. Definitely don't seem like the bad guys at all. They don't seem very evil. Definitely not. Look at this guy. He looks so, like, not evil. And the way that he's standing, you know, very shadily in the middle of the room, definitely not evil. Nothing evil here. Just completely normal, not evil stuff. All right. So...
ブレイクアップは起きているか？
今からおよそ12時間前に大規模太陽フレアが発生し、高速の CME が確認されています。肉眼での確認はまだですが、現時点でもオーロラが発生している可能性は高いかと。ですが、この規模のフレアはこの数年では日常です。
See, what I'm questioning is if this is in the same universe as Steins Gate. I don't think Steins Gate never mentions this Aurora thing, right? I thought this was in the same, like, maybe universe is a different word with Steins Gate, because Steins Gate has many different realities, correct? So perhaps this is on a different reality plane. I'm not entirely sure, because in the anime, they don't cover it. The anime, they don't really cover the connections between Robotics Notes, Steins Gate, Chaos Head, and Chaos Child. Those things aren't really connected at all in the anime. So, I don't really know, like, how the universe is set up, and I think I might be able to learn a little bit about it in this game if they make any references to Steins Gate, which I hope they do.
故にその影響ではないと。中央種子島高校か。私の勘違いでなければ君の母校だったな。
はい。
彼らのことは？
操作システムについては斬新な発想ですが、戦術そのものは洗練されているとは言えません。フロックと見てしかるべきかと。
So she definitely has a soft spot, I think. You know, there's definitely a soft spot there, because he's probably like, if she didn't say that, then he probably would have taken a very close interest in our main characters here. And I probably wouldn't be good, I assume, if Misaki's stopping him from doing that.
手厳しいな。
Their combat strategy is a mess. They only won the entire tournament. Well, okay. They didn't win the entire tournament, but still.
だが私が聞いているのは知り合いかということなんだが。
ええ、よく知っています。
詳細について後でまとめて報告を。
了解しました。
この場は任せる。スポンサー料については倍出すと先方に伝えておいてくれ。
So they're gonna pay the sponsorship.
どちらへ？
Interesting.
委員会の様子を見にな。
Oh, he's gone. Now she's closer now. The arena is quite far from here, even though the physical distance is so close. From here, I can't tell how the pair, my childhood friend and little sister, are taking the crowd's cheers. There's a broadcast monitor in this VIP room that allows me to see them, but they're nothing but data passing through the screen. Fiction disguised as reality.
まだ囚われているのね、カイ。
I caress the surface of the glass with my fingers. The transparent wall separating us is cold, completely unlike the passionate spectators in the arena.
それは正しい資質とは言えないのに。
I press my nails against the glass, trying to prevent my nerves from erupting. This small propeller plane is bound to Tanegashima. I let out a small sigh from my seat. Akio is next to me, looking down at her phone droid monitor with a disappointed expression on her face.
離陸前に電源切らないとダメだよ。
分
Yeah,
かってるよ。
they didn't win the tournament, but they tied it up and then probably lost to Hidaka-kun after, which we didn't technically see that they lost to him after, but they lost to him after, I'm sure. She's been like this since last night. She's probably reading articles from yesterday's match. Not that I can blame her. Yesterday, the Robo 1 Grand Finals ended in the most abrupt way possible. After suffering from slow-mo, I instinctively used the Prez's special move, the Tanagashi XL Impact. It successfully knocked Mr. Pleiades M45 out of the ring, but the Prez went flying out too. This counted as a double ring out, and since we were already 2 down, this was our third and last game over. We self-destructed. What a lame way to end things. I grind my teeth. Damn it. I suppressed the urge to punch the wall, all while maintaining my composure on the outside. Didn't I tell her from the get-go? Install brakes! The fate of the Robot Club doesn't mean jack to me, but I still irked over the fact that I lost. How could I let the championship slip through my fingers in such a dumb way? How embarrassing. Everything about this trip was chaotic from the get-go. If we were more prepared, I know I could have won, which is precisely why this stings so much. If nothing else, we did get some prize money for second place, a whopping 1 million yen. Wow, that's pretty decent. Actually, that's insanely decent. That's like 10,000 bucks. Because you take away 2 zeros and you get pretty much the amount in US dollars. So that's about $10,000 that they won from second place in this robot tournament, which is a pretty good amount of money for an amateur robot tournament, you know? That means freaking Hidaka is making bank, though. If that's second place's prize money, first place has got to be even better, right? But unfortunately, that means that the Robot Club is finished, though. I don't think that's gonna be how that works. I sure have watched the anime, but I also haven't watched it in several years. So sometimes the dots are just not quite aligned. Because obviously they are going to build the robot. They showed that in the first episode, right? So we all saw that. We all know that they are going to build the giant robot. They tell you that from the get-go, from the very first part of the visual novel. They tell you that they're going to be building the giant robot, and it's going to be with a bunch of people. So we just don't know exactly how that is going to get done, or what, like if the giant robot is going to be built for some specific purpose. Which, I mean, I only know vaguely about the whole, existential crisis going on with their fast forward and slow-mo thing. But I highly doubt this is going to be the end. I'm not. I'm sure that Misaka and the other guy, Sawa something. They said they wanted to sponsor and pay them double. So I'm not sure if that means like the club, or if it's talking about like individual people or whatnot. But I'm pretty sure they're going to be okay. But even that doesn't put a smile on Akio's face. She already realized that no amount of cash is going to change her situation. Akio's contagious sigh prompts me to sigh as well. With little ease to do, I boredly glance around the small plane. To be fair, $10,000 is pretty good. If you split that evenly, you got $5,000 apiece, which is amazing for a high school student, right? And even if they do throw out your giant robot, you now have $5,000 in the bank that you can use to build a new one. So it's not all lost, Just because the robot club itself might end up dying, you still have that cash money that you can bank in, or you can even use that to go into some sort of like, if Akio wants to go into like a robotics program at a university, that's $5,000 you can put towards that. That's fantastic. There aren't many passengers on this early Monday morning flight. I count 4 people other than me, Akio, and Michi. It's then that a girl about the same age as us enters the cabin. She makes her way through the aisle and she looks at her ticket confirming her assigned seat. She glances up and meets our eyes. Ah. Hello, creator of Kill Ballad. Hopefully you're having a good day. I at least know that much. I'm sorry if that's a spoiler, but we're gonna find out here, probably relatively soon anyway. Her face is so small, like a model. Her outfit is flashy as hell, too. I mean, I don't know if it's that flashy. I mean, that's some bright colors, but I wouldn't call that a flashy outfit. But her eyes are kind of scary. The girl appears to be restlessly looking around. I can't tell if she's refined or just out of her mind. She ends up sitting in a seat 2 rows in front of me. As far as I can tell, she's alone. As soon as she's seated, she pulls out her phone droid and starts Kill Ballad, only to be stopped by the cabin attendant. Just like that, my affinity for this mysterious girl skyrockets. This girl plays my game! Instant, can I marry you? That's such a generic weeb thing. I definitely didn't think she was a KB player, but if she's from Tokyo, it shouldn't be that surprising. Tokyo girls are all about the latest trends, apparently. I can feel my mood lighten a touch. The propellers outside the window start to spin. The plane begins to slowly move across the runway. Once the cabin attendant goes over the emergency instructions, a voice comes over the speakers above.
JAC3761 便午前8時40分発種子島行きは離陸の準備が整いましたのでこれより出発いたします。帝国通りの出発にご協力いただきまして種子島空港へは午前9時20分に到着予定です。現在種子島の天候は晴れ、気温27度となっております。
Damn, I'm way too hot, man. Got July weather, 29 degrees. Fuck.
冬季の気象はヤシオ。客室乗務員は
I'm so
西
glad
で
it's
ございま
October.
す。
I will say that. I'm so glad that it's freaking October because it's so much nicer outside. I can have my window open and it's so nice. Because in the summer, man, the heat is just brutal. Because Utah's a desert, so we get temperatures that are upwards of 30, 33. We even had a couple days this year where it was like 37. And I'm like, damn, dude, that is just way too warm.
短い間ですが、空の旅をどうぞお楽しみください。それと、カイト、アキちゃん、ナイスファイトだったよ。
Aw.
あ、茂みおじさん。
Good job, mate. Good job. You gotta love it because Tanegashima is obviously a small airport or a small place, and so obviously their uncle. They talked about it earlier, but their uncle is like one of the only pilots in the area. I'm sorry that it keeps making that noise. My thing keeps unplugging for some reason. My dad, Shigemi Yashio, happens to be a pilot for flights between Tanegashima and Kagoshima. I really wish he wouldn't talk about the personal stuff in front of other passengers. Embarrassed, I turn off my phone droid and sink into my seat, pretending to fall asleep.
本機は帝国通り種子島空港に到着いたしました。本日も JAC ジャパンエアコネクトをご利用いただき誠にありがとうございました。
Once the plane comes to a halt, the passengers rise up from their seats and head towards the exit
ミッ
door.
チ、起きてってば。
Mitchie stepped through the entire ride, even landing. G-forces ain't nothing on him, I guess. Akio taps him on the cheek and he doesn't move a muscle.
鼻と口を塞いじゃえばいいんだよ。
じゃあ海外やってよ。
Here goes nothing, and just as I execute our plan, Mitchie flails wildly as he wakes up after nearly suffocating.
ちゃんと引率してほしいんだけど。
おお、着いたか。よし、このまま学校だぞお前ら。遅刻扱いになるから覚悟しとけ。
学校今日は行きたくないかも。
That's fair.
教頭と顔を合わせたくないから。
I can totally see the VP immediately disbanding the club the second she sees Akio. But at the end of the day, if it doesn't happen today, it'll happen tomorrow.
なあ、なんか外が騒がしくないか？
Outside, three of us are the only ones left in the plane. I peek out and see a ton of people standing at the airport apron. I don't think I've ever seen this so many people at the airport. There's got to be over 100 folks out there.
なんだろ
That's when I see lights flashing on and off. Camera
も
flashes?
しかしてあれじゃないかって先生は推測するぞ。ロボ1で準優勝したお前らに突撃取材ってな。
準優勝になんか何の価値もないのにね。
う。カイ。
I wanted to stand at the very top of the summit. I wanted to stand shoulder to shoulder with Misune, whether it be in KB or Robo 1. As a gamer, if I'm entering a competition, of course I'd want to come out number 1. But the reason we failed this time is entirely because of my lack of
カイ
skill.
はとっても頑張ってくれたよ。
I mean, it's not entirely your lack of skill.
ここまで付き合ってくれて
Just
あり
partially.
がとね。
Now, you have more skill than I do. Akio places her hand on my shoulder and offers me some words of encouragement.
ま、明日から放課後にぼーっと過ごせる場所がなくなるのはちょっと残念だけどね。
カイがぼーっとするためにロボ部があったわけじゃないんだけどな。
We finally make our way out of the plane. We've already been sitting around way too long. The stewardess is looking out the window, dumbfounded. We pass by her as we disembark. It's then that we come face to face with the giant crowd of people. There I spot the girl from earlier, except she's surrounded by the sea of people and cameras. Maybe she really is a celebrity or something.
キルバラットオンラインを作ったのはあなたで間違いないんですね。
なぜ今まで素性を偽ってたんですか。
おいくつですか。
種子島に移住するとの噂は事実ですか。事実だったとしたらなぜですか。
3サイズを教えてください。
So that dude's fired, right? You can't, as a journalist, you can't just. That dude's fired, right? You asked that on camera with proof. That dude's fired, right? Surely that's not that's sexual harassment. What?
あなたが本当にフラウ幸次郎氏なんですか。
I passively hear the reporter's questions and can't believe my ears. Frau, you mean her? I assumed Frau was some dude in his 30s, but you're telling me that this girl, the one who looks about my age, is the one who made KB? The very same one who shared the KB source code with me.
フラウ幸次郎だって。
違う。
Suddenly, the quiet girl gently mumbles. She ignores all the journalists surrounding her and zooms straight in on me.
フラウ幸次郎じゃないですしお寿司。
はあ。
勝手に勘違いして呼ぶとか間抜けすぎでしょ上皇。
Such a noob. SMH.
私の名前は幸次郎フラウ。
As she says this, Frau Kojiro bends her lips upward. And then she laughs.
というわけで約束通りロボ部は廃部です。今日中に荷物をまとめること。
It's fucked, man. Let's see what the tweepo has to say. Yeah, unfortunate. Damn. It would suck to be that close. And then lose. And then have your entire club disbanded, even though you came in second place and won $10,000. Like, it just seems excessive. But I mean, this is anime, so that's how it goes. I apologize. My thing is just not being nice to me today. As agreed, the Robot Club will be disbanded effective immediately. Pack your things before the day is done. The Vice President acts swiftly and without mercy. Already aware of yesterday's Robo 1 results, she charged into the clubroom with Michi after school.
旧空港の方の倉庫も同様ですわよ。私物は持って帰りなさい。残ったものはすべて捨ててしまいますから、そのつもりで。
I considered bribing the VP with the Robo 1 money, but that'd probably work against us, so I stayed quiet. Imagine if we actually tried to give her 1,000,000 yen to let our club off the hook. She'd flip her lid. Students are trying to bribe me? How dare you? Granted, any VP probably react the same way.
ロボワンの賞金が100万円あります。
She actually said it.
それで
それで何ですの？
それはその
何ですの？
She's terrifying. Her eyes are completely fixed on Akio. This is why I'd said this was a bad
何で
idea.
もないです。
Even Akio is able to read the room on this one.
よろしい。ちなみに学校の予算で作ったものは持ち帰らないこと。あの巨大ロボットもそこにある小さなロボットもですわ。
種子島新さんはうちが自分のお年玉を前借りして改良したんです。
そうなのですか。それは失礼。ではその小さなロボットについてはご自由になさい。
That's good at least. She was gonna throw it away. Akio bites her lip and hangs her head low. She's clearly trying her best to suppress her emotions. Her tightened fists are just barely trembling. This is the deal that we made. Regardless of how unreasonable the VP's conditions are, Akio agreed to them. It is what it is. The robot club has been disbanded. The giant robot is going to be scrapped. It's all over and done with. Until... Oh. The attempt at bribery went as expected, so I've got nothing to say. It's time to be honest with ourselves and back down. I get being hurt, but for me, I'm hurt over the fact that I couldn't win, not because the club is gone. As far as I'm concerned, that's someone else's problem. Deep inside, I honestly don't care what happens. I just want to hurry up and be done with it. It's then that I noticed Subaru Hidaka watching us from afar. For some reason, he's wearing an irritated expression on his face. Now that I think about it, how did he even get back from Tokyo?
瀬宮さん、いつまでそうやって立っているつもりですか？早く片付けなさいと言っているのですよ。
Akio, her shoulders still slumped, turns away from the vice principal and heads to the club room. The room is filled with Akio's stuff from home, things left over by old members, and junky parts for the big robot. Even I can tell that Akio is trying not to cry, but she can't endure it any longer, and the tears begin to flow from the corners of her
例え
eyes.
ばさ、
Before I can stop myself, I'm suddenly talking to the robot club president.
ズルしてコンティニューか、綺麗にゲームオーバーを迎えるか。アキちゃんならどっちを選ぶ？
Akio sets her tearful gaze upon me like she's praying for me to create a miracle.
ズルしてコンティニュー。
Well, color me surprised. She didn't hesitate in the least.
夢だからこれだけは諦めたくないから。
We had to give up so many things due to our attacks. We convinced ourselves that we didn't have a choice. But when it comes to the robot club, Akio doesn't know how to give up. She's way more attached to it than I ever thought.
わかったよ。
I reassuringly pat Akio on the shoulder and walk over to where Subaru Hidaka is standing. Seeing Akio like that hit me pretty hard. Plus, it's my duty to support my childhood friend when she refuses to throw in the towel. Man, I'm contradicting myself, aren't I? Before Robo 1, I was doing everything in my power to get her to give up. What the hell am I thinking?
ロボ部は廃部だそうですね。妥当だと言っておきますよ。先輩たちはあまりにお粗末すぎた。
I immediately grin and wrap my arm around Hidaka-kun's shoulders.
何ですか？
日高くんさ、今あれ持ってたりする？
あれとは？
あれって言ったらあれしかないでしょう。あの赤い彗星の人みたいなマスクだよ。ミスタープレアデスくん。
Hidaka's expression immediately changes.
にゃんのことですか？
It's walking a boot. He's so shook that he's fumbling on his words. His eyes are darting back and forth, too.
もしかしてさ、本当にバレてないと思ってたの？
Granted, Akio and Michi somehow didn't, but any normal human being would have figured it out by now. Maybe it's like kayfabe in pro wrestling or something. Except I'm awful at reading the room for stuff like this.
今日いつ帰ってきたわけ？昨日のうちに島には戻ってこれないよね。朝一の飛行機には乗ってなかった。ということは昼の便？それとも船？何にせよさ、自宅には帰らずに直接学校来ちゃったりしてない？だったら今も持ってるはずなんだよね。知りません。 しらばっくれてもダメだよ。こっちもロボ部の存続というか、人一人の夢がかかっちゃってるもんだからさ。おっと発見。ポケットからはみ出てるよ。
In the words of the famous fighter, predictable. I trick him into checking his pants pocket with his hand. He then immediately has an annoyed look on his face. He realizes he's been fooled.
間抜けは見つかったみたいだね。
I quickly reach into Hidaka-kun's pocket and forcibly take out the mask. Yep, this is it. There's no doubt about it.
はい、ミッケー。
騙しましたね。三流ロボ部の分際で。どうするつもりですか？
I can see the hatred in his glare. Come on, mate. What the hell, man?
どうするって？それはもちろんこうするんだよ。
I then immediately jam the mask onto Hidaka-kun's face.
あ、やめ。
はあ！こんなところにロボワン優勝者のミスタープレアですが！
I put on an act and shout into the air, dragging Hidaka-kun into the club room. Akio, Michi, and the VP all stare wide-eyed at us in surprise.
ミスター
どういうことだこりゃ。
優勝者。確かにテレビに映っていた人ですわ。なぜ？
もちろん。はい、プレアデスさん。いつもの自己紹介やっちゃって。なんだっけ。アルシオンとかなんとか。
アルシオーネ、エレクトラ、マイヤ、タイゲタ、ケラエノ、アステローペ、メロペ。7人の女神の祝福により、我400光年の彼方よりここに降臨。アイアムミス
タープレアです。
ついやってしまった。
Despite his whining, I'm sure he put in an enthusiastic
はい、
performance.
ということでね、ミスタープレアデスです。ああ、言い忘れていましたが、こいつはこの学校の生徒であり、ロボ部の部員ですよ。
は？
なんですって？
つまり、昨日のロボワン決勝戦は、中央種子島高校ロボ部員同士による戦いだったわけであり、ミスタープレアデスが勝とうが俺が勝とうが、ロボ部はどっちにしろ優勝だったってわけです。
I mean, it's a brilliant plan. It
ロ
really
ボ部が
is.
敗部を免れる条件は、確か、ロボワン優勝でしたっけ？その条件は達成されたわけで、廃部になる必要はこれっぽっちもなかったりしますが、どうでしょ
何をふざけたことを。
The vice principal has started to go crazy. What a terrifying lady.
そのミスターなんとかさんが我が校の生徒だという証拠がどこにあるのです？
う？じゃあ正体見ます？
Hidaka-kun struggles to escape my grasp, but I pull the mask right off his face.
日高くん、
なんだと？日高じゃねえか。
これはどういうこと？
Obviously, mate.
違
Obviously.
う。僕はロボ部だから。
I quickly put my hand over his mouth.
というわけなんで教頭先生、帰ってもらえます？条件を達成したら廃部はない、予算も出す、そういう約束でしたよね。それとも先生が生徒に嘘をつくん
Brilliant
です
plan.
か？
Really is a brilliant plan.
こんなバカなことがあるなんて。
Get wrecked. The VP's face turns bright red despite the layer of white makeup she has on.
長深田先生、ロボ部員は2人ではなかったんですの？
なんというか、豆知識的に言いますと、どうやら3人だったようですな。
I at least played along with it, you know? The vice principal is seething now, blue veins visible on her forehead. I was kind of worried that she might burst a blood
気分が
vessel.
悪いですわ。 失礼。
But instead of exploding any further, she turns her back to us. This was the moment that we truly became victorious. The vice principal gave up on destroying the Robo Club in that very moment. And yet, Akio couldn't resist calling out to her.
ロボ部は存続していいんですか？
勝手にしなさいな。ただし、こんな詭弁にも等しい方法を取ったのですから、予算については絶対に承認しませんからね。
She storms off. Not getting any funding wasn't part of the deal, despite being dissatisfied with that one bit.
ロボ部が存続まだ続けていいんだ。
Yep. But seeing Akio so deeply moved and unable to deal with her own shock is enough to make me not care. I might not have lived up to expectations at Robo 1, but at least I made myself useful now.
珍しくミッチーが口裏を合わせてくれたから助かったよ。
いいかヤシオ、いいこと教えてやる。頭が真っ白になった時はとりあえず笑ってごまかせ。これ豆知識な。
He really is the worst.
どういうつもりです？僕はロボ部に入るなんて一言も。
じゃあミスタープレアデスの正体が日高くんだって学校中に言いふらしちゃうよ。
Considering he went so far as to hide his identity to compete at Robo 1, he must be hiding something shady.
この下道め！
Like I anticipated, Hidaka-kun throws a tantrum and stomps his feet a bit, but doesn't argue the point. It's then that Akio walks over to him.
何ですか？
Hidaka-kun puts up his guard as Akio simply takes his hand in hers and shakes it. Hidaka seems puzzled.
昨日の決勝いい試合だったね。プレアです。日高くんはすごいよ。尊敬しちゃう。
別に瀬宮先輩に尊敬されてもちっとも嬉しくはないですかね。
It's not like I like you or anything, Baka. Hidaka-kun, your voice is shaking.
むしろ先輩たちを見ててイライラしましたよ。そっちのロボは9年も前のもので調整もろくにされていなかったですし、ただキルバラのシステムをホビーロボに取り入れたことだけは評価してもいいような気がしないでもないというか、なんというかです。
Oh, he's actually complimenting us? Though he's still acting like a cocky jerk.
ありがとう。それと優勝おめでと
Hidaka-kun continues to face the other way.
う。でさ、マスクをしてたってことは日高くんもあの人みたいに過去を捨てたんだよね。ね。
For some reason, Akio's eyes are sparkling.
捨ててませんよ。いい加減話してくれませんか。
おっとその前に
I put my arm around Hidaka-kun's shoulders again.
アキちゃんまだ手を離しちゃダメだよ。
今度は何を？
ミッチー入部届出してくんない？
おう、いいぞ。ちょっと待ってろ。
Michi starts fiddling with his phone droid. These days, even club registration forms are digital. What a convenient world we live in. Hidaka-kun quickly realizes what situation he's in and tries to escape. Akio and I both keep him in place as Michi puts his arm around his shoulders too, giving this cheeky child no way out.
話してください。
さっきの俺の話だけど作り話なんかでもなんでもなくてガチで日高くんにはロボ部に入ってもらわないと。じゃないとさ、ほら教頭に荒探しされた時に困るでしょ。
そっか、そうだよね。こうなったら何が何でも日高くん、日高くんほどの才能をみすみす逃すわけにはいかないもん。
I mean, if she did start poking around, the VP could easily see that this form wasn't submitted until after the event happened, meaning that he wasn't part of the robot club when it occurred. Therefore, her conditions were still met. So she could still, if she really tried to poke around and figure out whether or not he was part of the club, she could find out that it wasn't submitted on time, meaning that he wouldn't be part of the club when the conditions were told. Therefore, technically, she would still end up being able to pull that on him. Oh, god dang it. My PlayStation controller's all wonky. Sorry. I mean, this is a pretty good PlayStation.